These are the patch notes for October 23rd. We're just looking for that bullet point that says fix the local co-op performance mode. Obviously there isn't one. September's was 11 gigabyte, and despite all of this other bump on the patch notes, we do actually have a visual section at the bottom. Now the last time I put this game on the channel, it was like a preliminary test, and I looked at quality modes and I looked at the performance and split screen, and we obviously ended up on performance, but that still had its issues. Plus I wasn't exactly stressing out the game either. We were just wandering around that first biome. My name is Coop, by the way. On this video, to say we stress tested it is an understatement. What is that? What is that music playing in the background? Oh, it's a montage. He's doing a split screen montage. What was that? What was that? Who was that smoothed out, like pebble looking bloke in that picture? That's my AI improved profile picture, my new improved. Mate, that looks absolutely nothing like you. Have you not dated online? I'm allowed to do it. Can we see us side by side? Can we not? Jesus Christ. Who's that on the right hand side of the screen? This should be against the Trade Descriptions Act. Does that mean you're a VTuber now, Coop? Can we just move on? I may revert in future. We'll see how it goes. Everyone's allowed a bit of rebranding. Rebranding? Facial rebuild, more like. Borderlands 4 is looking a lot better in split screen. On performance mode, we didn't go anywhere near that quality. Didn't want to get depressed, but we have blatant stability improvements on split screen in performance mode. Very noticeable, and of course, busier gameplay here, so it was stretching it, and we just had nothing but a good time.
I pray you find mercy in the afterlife.
This second visit to the local co-op mode is also a good opportunity to test out that inventory slowdown that we saw in some of the previous games. What I'm talking about is if one local player went into their backpack, looked through their guns, or was staring at some stats, there would be a blatant drop on the other player's screen, and it was completely gotten rid of with Borderlands 3, but it took them a while. Also took them a while to put the vertical split in. The point being there is zero slowdown on that other screen. When player 2 or player 1 is mucking around with their loadouts, even putting the skill points in, that sort of thing, we went right down to just check if we saw any dips. Absolutely nothing. So great news on that front.
A pocket apocalypse!
The special abilities for each character are now becoming more flamboyant and more disruptive to the game pitch. This was something I also wanted to test. At the beginning of this video game, you're kind of a quiet noise in regards to what you throw out as a player, but you've got the flying axe going around, all the bullets coming out of my character who was on the left there. It was keeping up with it beautifully, and it's really cool to see some slightly mid-game abilities and specials, and this trickles down to the weaponry as well. All of the elements getting seen on the acid front, even the electricity and explosions. It was cool to cycle through all of those elemental effects, and to see that they haven't lost any of their graphical fidelity too much in split screen again is a win.
What was that? A broom closet?
You have no idea what I'll get the door. Cover me.
There is quite a large change I wanted to talk about with Borderlands 4 against Borderlands 3, and it revolves around the grenade system. It makes you think that they haven't mucked around with it too much, giving you the standard stuff that you would see in the series, but then all of a sudden it's like, no, there's an electricity gun, which is essentially a fifth weapon slot. They will always be a build move normally though, so there's a delay on activating it, and they have a cooldown. Some of them also make the pad vibrate in a battery depleting fit-like motion, and I'm always concerned about having it on too long because the cords with these damn machines are about 2 foot long. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Obviously it's an addition and it's pretty cool and it's great to have another angle on that slot, but I do kind of miss just grenades being on that button. Back onto that progression topic, I do want to say it's amazing seeing new enemies coming through now, and we do get to a second biome in this footage, so if you don't want to see any of that, hard cheese, the game's been out for about 6 weeks. And on the subject of Borderlands in general, well, split screen local co-op shooters, this is now the best looking and largest and newest split screen shooter video game available on 9th gen. It is quite a thing that they kept this 2-player split screen in, but I do want to whine about it not being 4-player, which is something I didn't stipulate too clearly on the previous video, and the drop in drop out is flawless. Don't know what was going on when I was trying it when the game launched, but it was taking ages and I kept getting put back a screen. Everything is smooth as hell with getting someone in whilst you're playing or removing them whilst you're playing. On that subject of split screen 9th gen 4-player local video games, I thought we were coming into the golden age with the launch of the PlayStation 5 on that front. Games like Dirt 5 having it immediately on launch, and stuff like Borderlands 3, which gave us a free 9th gen upgrade and kept that 4-player, and even Tiny Tina's Wonderlands on the PS5 sports set. Then we started to see the COD withdrawal, as I call it, and they pulled the plug on the 4-player a lot earlier than the 9th gen system, to be fair. I always thought the more powerful the system, the more local co-op players you can get involved with, but that may not be a thing that the corporates are up for. Feast your eyes on some of these not too horrendous reflections. Sticking on that subject of new 9th generation 4-player local co-op video games, and Sonic Cross Worlds has totally looked after us. The arcade racer hasn't really been affected too much by that lack of local player. I reviewed it in full and will link and annotate. Staying on the subject of 9th generation video games, something dawned on me when we were playing Borderlands 4 and looking at the submissions. By the way, that UI is not the most user friendly and everything defaults onto tracked mission. I'll get to that another time. But the penny dropped that we could actually teleport independently anywhere in that biome map and get on with our own stuff without being teleported back in front of the other player, Ark Survival. I'm not sure if we saw that level of autonomy in the other Borderlands. That is quite a thing, really, considering how rousy other local co-op first-person shooters are.
Time to break some necks. Yeah, just one more day. That's the gym.
We were also very much enjoying these world events, the random spawns of cool enemies, and dealing with that and not having to be on a paid PSN network. Neither of these profiles had paid extra or the base level subscription service, and also seeing a pretty cool switch out on the indigenous monsters and enemies within the second section. That was very cool. We were just about getting sick and tired of those weird horned sheep things. So what is left to fix with this game on local co-op? I would still like to see that performance mode a little bit better. It's great to see some movement on stability between the patches, but there's still a little bit of work to be done. Also, the quality mode is just a non-existent thing. It is not even worth looking at, even with horizontal. I have even seen complaints about that in the single player. So there is still a bit more to do with putting that quality mode on in split screen. That would be an ideal universe. It can only run at 30 frames per second, that's fine, but give us some really cool resolution and give us a peg 60 in the performance mode. Keep your eyes peeled, stay tuned, like and sub, because I will be coming out with more Borderlands 4 content way before the end of the year. We'll probably see some more patches come in, and I'm about to review a very cool local co-op indie game which I'll get out on the channel for Friday night. My name was Coop, and I will look forward to, that you fucked that up, to seeing you down there.